everyone, it's Annette Green back again working in my vintage black planner. This is my memory keeping planner for the whole year of 2023, and I'm documenting 1 week of my life. And you have caught me in December, so that means we have just a few more weeks to go, and this has been a full year of documentation for me. So last week, if you were here, we did this fun page on week 48 with Jamie and I and playing Pikmin Bloom. Very colorful, very happy page, very fun to make. But today we're going to work on the back side of that page for 49, and I've got some photos ready and I've got a plan. So let's get right into it. Of course, I use the page dies from Elizabeth Craft Designs to pre-cut all my pages. And it's always advised to work on your pages not in the planner, but out on the table, and then you can get it back in there after. So my plan here today is, boy oh boy, we had a really fun, busy week because, you know, it's approaching the holidays. There's all kinds of things going on. We took a hike. We went to look at gingerbread houses on display in downtown Greenville. We also every year go to the Hyatt and we look at the Christmas trees that are on display there, made from different schools and companies and such. It's always great. And then we had the big Travelers Rest Christmas parade, which is our first because this is the first time we're living here in this sweet little town. So I've got all these pictures over here, as you can see, and I don't think they're all going to make it. But just because I'm using the printer paper, I went ahead and printed them out, and we'll make a decision if any have to get cut later. So with my plan today, you saw me kind of hovering that hexagon die over the photos over here. There are two here. One's going to be like a photo mat, and then that will be, the actual picture will be cut out of that shape. That's the plan anyway. We'll see. The hexagons, now there are many dies that have hexagons like that are kind of nested, but these are nice and small to fit on my page, like many of them, and they come from a brand new special from David Rudenberg with Elizabeth Craft Designs. It is the ATC Special, which is like a complete kit full of good stuff, and that is this full die set with those hexagons over there, a stamp set, very cute, and then a cork journal like this, a TN. It's a passport size traveler's notebook, and I have stamped all over it. There is a video of me doing a Facebook Live with Elizabeth Craft Designs, if you didn't catch it, and I was talking about how I decorated the cover of this, and then I make a couple of these pages in here, and then I also make some ATCs, of course, with my B stamp sets, and share some different techniques if you wanted to check that out. I'll put that link below. There's a lot of good things in this set. As you saw in that TN, there's this great big pocket. There's another small pocket. Of course, the ATC card size die is here as well with a mat. There's all kinds of stuff. So you can use this for many, many things. If you're not an ATC trader, the album, the little TN, is exclusive to this kit. So, I mean, just for the album alone, you know. So here we go. I'm going to use those and stick this aside. Other dies and things. I don't know if I'm going to use everything here, but of course I have to use a number, and the number 49 will come from Planner Essentials 37, Stitched Letters and Numbers. That's the one I always use. I may use some whole reinforcements from the Reinforcements pack number 3. I did pull my festive season stamp set because I think I have to work in something from there. And then the star of the show is going to be the wreath from my fall wreath and owl set. This big wreath. I haven't used it at all on any of these pages. I've used it a lot to make Christmas cards. But I thought that would be great to cut out of some pretty pattern paper and use for the focal image, which will be Paul and I here in the rain watching the parade. So that's why this photo is bigger, and this wreath is so detailed and so pretty, and it can stand alone like that, but I'm going to do a little bit more when we get to it. I'll show you. Okay, so what I need to do now is get these kind of cut apart. I did size them in Photoshop. My printer that I use is a Canon Pixma TR8620. It's a little older. If you go looking for it, I can definitely put a link in the Amazon favorites, but you may see one that's a little newer model. Go for it. I also use HP advanced glossy photo paper. And I work in Photoshop Elements on my computer. So I did pre-size all these knowing that I was going to use the hexagon die and knowing the height and the width that each photo had to kind of fall in, with giving me that focal image also right smack in the center. So I'm going to take a moment to cut all these out, even though I might not use them all, so that we can get a plan going here. Okay, and I've just run my first one through the die cutter, and I've talked about this before, how the Elizabeth Craft Design dies are wonderful, and they do cut deep enough that you saw I could pop that out of there. It doesn't cut completely through, but it just popped right out. It just needed a little bit of help. So just know that. So there's my first one, and I'll keep on going with the rest of these. As you can see, I've cut them all apart from the paper, but I didn't take a lot of care in cutting right up to the image. So I can line things up and cut them out as I go. And I am turning this hexagon in a what would you say, a diamond pattern, let's say. The pointy part is at the top instead of it being like so. I want it to be like so. So kind of diamondy, but it's still a hexagon, you know what I mean? I think I like that look better. And I'll just show you again. Here's another one. See, it just needs a little help. Pops right out. It's like it's been perforated very deeply, so it does work. You could also try running it through twice. I don't think that'll make a difference, so what I'm going to do to test that out is just try it right now. I'll run it through 2 times. And I just learned that I have to hold down the reverse button on the Empress Mini. No, that didn't make any difference, but it still cuts it out just fine. No need to go through twice, just save yourself the energy. Okay, I've got everything cut out. More than what I'm going to be able to fit, I know that. I also took the larger hexagon die that's a little larger than the one we cut the photos, and I just grabbed some random red papers and red cardstock, some different prints and values of red. So those are going to be my little photo mats behind my photos, and I'm kind of thinking of a little kind of collage cluster down here so that my big wreath main focal point can be up there. So let's just see if I put these close together with a little bit of space in the page. Can you see that? I don't want to put them right together. I do want some space. How many can we see? You're not going to see photos if I go off the page like that. So we might have to say, well, this photo isn't that important, as important, so we may cut that off. So let's just say, like, I have 2 Christmas trees from the Greenville thing, so we're going to eliminate one. And we've got the parade and the people from the grits and gravy booth at the holiday market, which was something else we did. That was right after the parade. We also went on a hike, so that has to be in here. I think that might go up here. I'm just placing for now, and I'm not sold on the photo choices just yet. I got to make sure everything works and what's important to me is going to be included. Like this picture of a pine cone. I don't know. And this picture of the food we ate. The grit people are more important than the grits themselves, because they're really nice people and we love their grits, and they're always just so friendly when we're there. So we wanted to more like honor them than the food. So this is a cute photo of Tandem's little VW bus that you order from. Tandem is a wonderful little eatery, famous in Travelers Rest for that little yellow minivan. It's going to get cut off if I put it there. And then we have some other things around TR. So I think I just have to get the photos on there and then say, yeah, that's probably going to get cut off. And that's okay, because it would look weird if we didn't put a photo and we just cut that off at the page. So I think we're getting there. I might have to cut some more hexagons or come down off the page a little, like so. Now we do have our holes over here to be concerned with, which is even more the reason we don't need to worry too much what the photos got in it. So if that's the case, we'll just use that pine cone one. So you're getting the gist, right? Okay, so I need to cut 2 more and then think about if I just want to put some down here, or if I want to cut these off just a little bit more and not worry about that little triangular area there. And I think that's the way I'm leaning, is I don't want to have to put anything down there. So this is starting to look like a little bit of a Christmas tree, but that's okay. I'm going to cut 2 more pieces, one for there and one for there, and then we'll figure out how we're going to get Paul's and my faces cut out properly behind this little wreath. Okay, I think I got it. And so while I am gluing and inking, I will chat. I don't know if you are following me over there on Instagram, but I am working on my December day by day. It's a separate little planner. Many of you might know about the December day by day because you took a little class with me online, but it is a sidekick size planner, and I'll show you that we did a class on ahead of time in October, late October. We got it all ready. There was homework. Everybody did their little homework, got their pages ready, and now it's December and it's time for everybody to start documenting their December. So what I'm doing is I'm adding photos, and some of them are repeats of what you're seeing here. Of course, you know, how can that not happen? But I am doing a little kind of a speeded up, cute little video series on my Instagram channel only. It's not on Facebook, and I know, you know, a lot of you are not on Instagram, but I don't know why, because it's a great place to be. It's a fun little place to be. And if you're looking for me, if you decide to get on Instagram, there I am, Annette M. Green. If you search Annette Green, you might find me, but you know, there is somebody named Annette Green on there, and I think she's a singer, and she's lovely, but it's not me. So if you go there, you can see that I have been posting a video, not every single day in December, but sometimes it's like the first day, and then there might be 2 or 3 days combined. And I just do a really quick video putting those pages together, because the pages themselves are together. It's just me getting the photos on the pages, maybe adding a few little touches to the already existing pages. It's kind of fun. And since I'm talking all about it, I might as well show you real quick. I switched it. The class was the new red sidekick planner that's beautiful. But I used that for something else, and because all my December day by days I've been doing in this olive colored sidekick with the gold sparkles on it. I just really like that, and I want them to all be the same on the shelf. So anyway, we have a dashboard, and then it just begins. It begins with things that I've been doing and people that I've been meeting, and sometimes I'm adding a little something, little pull-out tags. This is a pocket page. You know, sometimes it's just me enjoying coffee in the morning. It's nothing super special. Going for a hike. There's a little flap there for journaling. Secret message over here about something secret I can't talk about yet. So we'll hide that. I know some of you are going to try to pause and look at that. And then this one. And then this one here I did yesterday. And it has a little pull tag as well. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. Today is the 10th, and then I will probably do 10th and 11th together tomorrow. So on my Instagram, again, hey, this is looking good. I think that's about how I like it and where everything's going to go. And yeah, some things are going to definitely get cut off, and we're going to have our holes over here. Probably not at all going to put hole reinforcements there, but maybe I will here. So now we need to address this issue of Paul and I, because there's a lot of openings in this die. So do we just cut it into a circle, our picture? I think that's what I'm leaning toward. Will it look funny? I guess we need to decide what size of a circle. And I don't know if I'm going to have a die or punch that big, but I do have a die that big. 2.5. So the photo isn't quite 2.5. That's the issue. 2 3/8. So I think I'm going to reprint this photo a little bit larger, so it's at least 2.5, and then I'm going to cut it out with a circle die. Okay, I think that works. This is a die from the nested, let's see, how do we call that? Oh, the stitched circles from Musette. It's 1116 stitched circles, and it's 1, 2, 3, the 4th size up from the smallest. Now it is stitched, it has those little dots. And I don't care, because when I get this over the top, I don't see those little dots. But just know that that particular set has stitches and dots in the circles. I'm sure if I dug around, there's probably a different die that I could have used, but that works for now. I think that's going to be good. Okay, so what I have next is I have this little die here that's from the wreath set as well. It's all these little leaves, and yes, they look like oak leaves because that was really kind of like a fall wreath when I first designed it, but you can use it at Christmas time. Believe me, I've used it a million times. But I'm going to take some more of that same paper that I cut this wreath out of, and I have 2 pieces here because I'm going to run it through twice so I get some extra. And I just grabbed like a dark green alcohol marker. It doesn't have to be alcohol marker, but I'm just going to, scribble that over the front. And because it's alcohol marker, it's not like super opaque. It's not going to block out everything behind it. It's going to let the design kind of show through, but it's just going to darken it up. And then this way it still coordinates. Instead of using like, you know, solid cardstock on this very pretty printed pattern paper, just use a darker shade to scatter in some more, let's say they look like holly kind of leaves. I think that's going to look more interesting than just a flat cardstock color. And before I get too much further, what I want to do here is grab a scrap sheet of paper, and I've got these Nouveau drops, glitter drops. This is Ruby Slippers. It's a beautiful red. I've kind of tested out a few colors that I bought here. It's really, really pretty. It's kind of a pinkish red. I also have like a green and a gold here that could be worked into this. But what I want to do is I want to take this guy, and everywhere that there's a berry, I'm going to do this on it. So I'm going to take a moment and do that, and then put that aside so it can really dry, so we can move forward with the layout. It's off to the side drying. I'm going to get these on here just very quickly, and I'm going to work up from the bottom. That seems to make sense to me. And I'm pretty happy with the placement as far as who's going where. The trick here will be to make sure everybody's straight, because once the first one's crooked, and I should be working on some sort of non-stick craft sheet here, because you saw me put glue all over the back of that thing. Okay, so I'll take time to do this and keep them all squared up. Okay, these are all on here, and obviously I am going to trim these off, but I just want to set them aside to dry a little bit longer while I work on these little leaves over here. So I'm going to grab that die I showed you before, and we'll run these darker pieces through. Okay, my leaves are all cut out up there. This is dry enough now. We're going to go ahead and cut this out. Just going to use my quilt ruler and my blade. Get everything squared up really well. And I say it a lot, when you're using a blade like this, your goal shouldn't be to get through it the first pass, because you're going to either break your blade or you're going to hack up your photos. So just a couple of light passes and get everything. I can feel it still wanting to get through that one. So that was a lot of passes, and I still didn't even get all the way through there. There we go. Clean that up later. But this is looking really good. I like how it just kind of goes off the edge. You know me. I like to make sure of that. It's so much more interesting than if those hexagons were floating within the page. It just makes the eye do something kind of interesting. So I love it. And as I'm looking at this and thinking about what's coming up next here, I'm thinking I need some space. I need some space for a little bit of journaling. So I have to think about that. And if I'm really going to do whole reinforcements here, I do have them on this side, so the page is nice and strong. We'll just see if that's something that we need or not, and I think I'll just wait till the end for that. You know, every time I lay my microphone down and go do something, I have laid it right into this glittery stuff that I've been doing over here that was drying. So I'm going to fix that really quick. And I see some places I missed anyway, so I think I'm good. It looks really pretty. Most of this is almost dry, but because I did that with my mic, I'm going to put that aside. I think I'll put it over here, way over here. And I have one that has already been cut just in a bin over there. So I'm just going to use it as a placeholder so I can kind of get a plan for the rest of this stuff while that's drying. There's my leaves. I got my 49, and then I also need space for journaling. I could see a little ticket or something or tag hanging off over here. I just don't want to get into the photo area. I could have something coming from behind, like I've been doing a couple times. That's always kind of a nice solution, is to have a hidden journaling kind of tag. And then the 49 could go over here. I think I might do that. I think I'll have it coming out from over here. So what is going to be required to do that, you ask? Okay, I have grabbed Esther's die 2055 tab 4 with tags, one of my favorites. I grabbed the Christmas Lives Here paper, which is some of the paper I've been using with those hexagons. This will be my tag topper. This will be my tag. I'm going to use the smallest tag here and this nice kind of neutral side of this paper for my tag. And then I have to pick a tag topper. Which one do I like? Kind of fond of this guy, so we'll just feed this through at the same time. I'll get this kind of ready. Just ink some brown around the edges, and then we'll get that topper on there first before I go to journal anything. Okay, and as crazy as it sounds, I'm going to do little pencil lines. I could use my stamp, like I've done in the past, to make some rules to keep this nice and straight, but I want these really kind of close together, and my stamp isn't that close together. So I'm just doing every 3/16, not quite a quarter, not as small as an eighth, and I'll erase these lines after. I do this a lot just because I like straight handwriting, but you can skip this step, of course, and just right away. I just think it looks so much neater if you take an extra second to do this. Okay. Okay, yep, nice and straight, looks good. I just used a soft eraser just to get rid of those lines. I could go at it a little bit more. It's just a plain artist eraser like that, nice and soft. Nothing smudges, looks great. Okay, and I got my topper on there. I did trim a little bit of ribbon that I might add on there in a little bit. But right now I'm kind of focused on the 49 and the hole reinforcements, and I just need 3, but I just want to use up these scraps I have here. So I'm gonna use this shape right here, and I'm gonna line this up. Just make sure I get 3 here. And then I grab this scrap that's kind of like a grungy tan color, and I think that's what I'm going to do my 49 in. So I might as well cut this out in one pass here. Okay, see all my 4s and 9s over here? I was having a thought about getting that tag to slide underneath my photo and my wreath, and I'm gonna have to pop that up a little bit, that whole unit with the photo. So that also means that the 49, if I want it to kind of overlap the wreath, that needs to kind of pop up as well. Now it's kind of, you know, it's just one layer, so it's a little tiny bit flimsy on its own. So I'm just gonna like glue together a whole bunch. How many did I cut? I cut 5 of each. And I'm gonna glue these all together, and they're gonna be like nice and thick, like almost like a chipboard. And I just used scrap, you know, it didn't matter what I cut out, you know, those remaining ones, because you're not gonna see those. Just that top one that I wanted to be that nice kind of grungy tan color. So I'll glue these together and I'll ink the edges, and it'll be nice and prominent and thick. As I glue this this top 4 on, I'll show you. Definitely want to use, well, I do liquid glue, because I want to be able to slide this 4 in place, and I find it's best to just pick it up instead of having it on the table, and that way you can kind of grab it and pinch it right away as you layer it on top. And the liquid glue just allows you to slide it in place and get it all lined up nice and square. So that's really quite nice. It feels like a piece of chipboard. And of course you can go in there with a marker along these edges, but I'm gonna just hit it with that same brown. Today I'm using Gathered Twigs. It doesn't matter too much. Now getting in here is tricky. I'll probably will grab a little marker for the inside, but that looks good. I always keep a brown marker and a gray marker off to the side, like within reach. I also keep a little bit lighter tan color. I always do that because I am inevitably needing one or the other to create a drop shadow on a page, or to do this type of thing. And brown is like the most common color. Like if you can't get in there to ink those edges, just use a marker. And brown is one of those colors that I'm always using to ink edges. My markers are, you know, they're not that far away, but these are the ones I keep right here with all my pens right next to my work table. So you saw me switch to the lighter brown. I feel like that one darker color was just a little too dark when I started hitting it in there. I mean, it would have been fine probably, but it just seemed like it was going on a little bit darker than I wanted. I just checked my wreath, and it feels like it's dry, but I'm not going to rush it. I'm just going to get these hole reinforcements on here while I'm waiting, give it just a little more time, and maybe talk about what's coming up here. I have been having a little bit of a fight with my paper trimmer. I may have mentioned that last time. So I have purchased not 1, not 2, but 3 paper trimmers. I will use all 3 because they're all a little different, but I am going to make a little bit of a comparison video, comparing it to the trimmers I already have, and then the ones that I did get, and do I like them, and what's the prognosis, basically. Okay, and also I thought, since I have to pop this up, I don't want to just pop this up because it's so flimsy. And since I have this to reinforce it, I thought, well, I should probably just glue it right on there. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun, instead of trying to line up all those little things, which is doable, there it is right there, that would make it nice and thick and keep it all intact. But do we like it kind of offset a little? It makes it a little more full looking. I think I like that. See what can happen when you're just kind of goofing around? Happy little accident. Okay, minor little picky detail, but do you see this spot right here? See that green spot right there? I'm going to purposely put it down here, knowing that I'm going to cover that up with the 4 and the 49. So I like how this looks with us in here. I'm going to give it a little pinch with my left hand and get some glue right on the front of the photo back here, just to get it started. Push that down. Might need an extra second because it is a photo. And then I'll do the same over here. This needs to be, you know, well attached to the wreath because we don't want our tag to catch when it's sliding under here. Okay, cool. I'm going to let that glue dry. And we're going to use some foam tape, I think. Or not. I don't think so. Because foam tape is sticky. It's sticky on the sides. And I don't want that. I know you can pounce it with the talc and all that stuff, but I think I want to make a little channel and see if that works for my tag to go in. And so what I would do here is, okay, and let's see if we have room for this. I want to create a little raised element. This is chipboard and it's thinner than the foam tape. So I would just cut this. Is that going to fit? Is that going to work? Barely. Okay, maybe we'll cut this a little shorter. Okay, and then I'm going to cut away that channel. Yes, I could use a craft knife. I'm going to probably have to right there. Yeah, I better. Okay, this will be a little bit better. And it's chipboard, so again, couple of passes, not really hard. Okay. Okay, so the idea, hopefully, is that the tag will go in and out of this channel. I think that's going to work. Okay, just testing it out to make sure. Looks good. 49 is going to go here. 49. Okay, good. And we want the tag to stick out just a little bit from the page. The position is good. So I'm going to hold this and we're going to try to make sure this is straight here. And then make a little line where I want this to go, because I have to glue this piece down, of course. Whoops. We just want to make sure that's going to fit. Looks good. Okay, liquid glue. And I'm just going to lay my tag in here just to make sure I don't squeeze these in too tight. And then my tag is going to go all the way in there. Looks like it does. No problem. Okay, and then we'll go here. and that will go there. So I think we definitely need to do the ribbon on here because you're not going to be able to grab that tag end very easily if we don't. So let's kind of do the old spread it out trick and tiny attacher, stapler. Okay, I can trim those tails, of course, a lot shorter than that in a moment. But we're going to put this on top of here. All right, so we only need adhesive right there. Do I want to do liquid glue? Probably. Now, finding that channel could be tricky. I don't really want to mess with it too much while it's wet. Well, that wasn't too hard. Okay. It doesn't stick out as much as I thought, but with the ribbon there, I think it's going to be okay. So let's just trim these down quite a bit. And I will go into that ribbon tip with my fray check. I think I'll do that later, but I always use this fray check. It stops fraying on fabric. That's what it says right there. So I'll put a little dab of that on the ends. Okay, and then I've got to get my 49 on here. And like I said, I think it's going to be there, covering up that one spot. And then this will hang off. So this little tiny bit of the bottom of the 9 is going to have a little foam tape. So I will do that. No big deal. And as you can see, I just put a little tiny bit. It's just, you know, white foam tape on a roll. This stuff right here, I just cut skinny little pieces. And so we'll put a little liquid glue on the top half where it's going to touch my wreath. And I think we'll stagger it down like so instead of lined up. Looks good. Okay, and then I just have to get those green leaves on here, even though it looks pretty nice, but I do want to do it. Squeezed out a little bit of super thick tacky glue. You could also use Kids Choice. That's nice. That's by Beacon as well. I say as well because a lot of other glues I use are from Beacon, like Fabri-Tac and 3-in-1. But this is Aleene's, the super thick. So different brands, same kind of deal. Now I'm looking at my little leaves here and I want to give them some dimension, but you know, I know that it's going to be in my book, so it's not going to be able to be super dimensional, but I am giving it a little pinch with my tweezers, and I'm going to do that to all of these, and then I can dip it in my little blob of glue there. So I'll get all these prepared, and then I can quickly dip in there with my other tweezers to put these down. Okay, now it's easy work of just picking these up and dipping them into a little bit of that glue. I've started to do a few already. And I'm not, you know, there's no rhyme or reason here. I'm just plunking them down. I have, how many? 16 of them to play with, so I have plenty. And they're probably not standing out very much for you, but I can really see those on there, kind of adding just a little more texture and dimension to the wreath. As I'm doing this, I'm thinking, do I want to put anything in these spaces between these hexagons? Like something cute. And I might. You got to know when to stop though, right? We'll talk about it when we get there. I laid one of these little leaves down there and it did look kind of cute, really. Like if it was sitting right there. But I don't think a leaf is what I want there. I don't know what it's going to be. Okay, everything's on there. And I did add these two colors as well. Honey Gold is that gold color I showed you. And then the green over here, that is Sunlit Meadow. Bee slippers, really nice combination of Nuvo glitter drops. And I'm gonna have to give it a few minutes for it to dry because it does change color. It's very kind of translucent right now, but I did add the green all in the wreath. I added the gold here and there, little dots, which will show up much more when it's dry. So I'm going to give it a few minutes, clean up a little bit, and I'll show you the final page. Okay, I believe everything is dry. It looks kind of pretty. I added Best Time and Happy Holiday. That was from an older stamp set, CS256 Cozy Days, but I will link everything below, of course. So I just need to get my little tag in here, and it finds its way in there pretty well, so that's kind of cool. And get it in my planner. And gosh, next week will be week 50. We are almost there. Oh, look what I forgot to do. I forgot to repunch those holes. Goodness, we can't have that. So I'm just grabbing my crocodile hole punch, and I'm going to punch those bottom 3, and I'll be all set. As I was saying, very excitedly, week 50 is coming. Only 52 weeks in the year, so we will be done so soon. And I know a lot of you are asking, and I will address toward maybe the next couple of weeks, I'll address how things are going to go next year in 2024 as far as me and planners and such. So the page is done. I'm very happy with it. I hope you like it too. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I appreciate you and the nice comments, and just giving me that thumbs up and subscribing. It's always great. So thanks again, and I'll see you next week.